A little something about Raymond. He's an investor in stocks and rentals. He wants no money from you, no bait and switch, nothing. Here's what he's going to do. He's going to log into his personal account, share real estate property documents, and give you suggestions on what to read.
All right, guys. Today is September 16th, 2020, and I want to pick up where we left off. This is part 2 of our discussion about the importance of knowing how you're going to be taxed. A lot of people concentrate on the investment side of working really hard to understand that, trying to make a profit, trying to buy rentals, renting them out as much as they can get, being good to the tenants and making money. But if you don't understand the tax side, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. So I want to jump into what happens with all this money that if you're working in corporate America, that you're saving and you're pumping into your 401k. So, for example, at 16%, I was doing $668. But then if you bump it up, and I recommend you guys bump it up as high as you can, you're going to make dump a lot more into your 401k. So at 30%, I was doing $1,253. And if you look at the net pay again, it wasn't that much difference. About a 20% decrease, but I'm almost doubling the money that's going into my 401k. And again, every penny that goes into your 401k, it is your money. And I didn't mention company match. So with all this investing and money I was putting into my 401k, the company was also matching a lot of the money that I was putting in. So I look at that as free money. You definitely want to get that free money. So let's log into my Fidelity account so I can show you what all this money looks like and how it works and what I plan to do with it. All right, so we're going to log into my GM and GE 401k. All right. So we're almost in. And again, the day is September 16, 2020. All right, so we're in, and I have two 401k. So I have a GE and a General Motors. So I want to start off with the GM 401k. And all right, so I have almost 64,000 in my 401k. If you look here, I have an outstanding loan of about 46,000, and I'm going to sound like a hypocrite. And I recommend that no one takes a loan out of their 401k. And the reason you don't want to take a loan out of your 401k is that you want all that money to stay within the 401k to generate profits. If the money isn't in the 401k, that means you're not invested in the stock market and you can't make additional money. So why did I take the money out? Well, I had an opportunity that I couldn't pass by, and I had money, but I needed extra money. So I decided to go into my 401k, and trust me, I did the math, and it is worth my while to do what I'm doing. So I have to pay this back, and I will be making monthly payments. And if I can, I would be doubling and tripling up on the payments to get the money back as soon as possible. So let's look at year to date. And I'm not doing well. I'm at negative 9.76%. So I got the rest of the year to try to get better, and that's what I plan to do. And let's scroll down, and this is what I really want to talk about. So you have asset classes, which is just telling you what I'm invested in down here: bonds, short-term debt, foreign stock, other. Holdings is telling you what I'm invested in. You can see that there. And sources. So sources is saying that I have a rollover and it's at 100%. So what that means is that all this money, almost 64,000, is coming from a rollover into my GM 401k. So I worked at a company prior to General Motors, and I rolled that money from that company's 401k into General Motors 401k. And all this money is pre-tax. So this means I never paid taxes on any of this money. So of course, when I take this out, not as a loan, but when I start to withdraw it when I get to the retirement age, which luckily for me is years and years and years away. But when I start taking that money out, I'm going to have to pay taxes on it. And those taxes would be whatever the tax rate is at the time. So if it's 15 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever's going on then, whatever the tax rate is, that's what I'll have to pay. So that's what's going on with GM. So let's go to GE. So again, my GE 401k is with Fidelity right here. And as you can see, it's two different companies, but since it's the same investment company, Fidelity, they have it set up the same. So it looks almost the exact same. Asset class, holdings, sources. So I have a lot more money in my GE 401k. I have a little over 374,000. Year to date, negative 8.56. So I'm not doing well. Hopefully I can do better. Same thing, asset classes, holdings, and sources. So the picture looks a little different here. So we have two rows. One says taxable rollover at almost 56%, and the other one says pre-tax contributions at a little over 41%. So this taxable rollover, same thing I said, but in this case, I took money from General Motors and I rolled that over into my GE 401k. So the blue represents that. The black represents the money that I put in while I was working at General Electric. So that's the pre-tax money I was talking about, which was here. So every time, every pay period, when I was dumping either 16% in or 30% in, it all went here into this pot, which is my 401k, and this is why you see the number that you see. But I want to tell you guys this: all of this money here, be it from the rollover or from GE, is all pre-tax money. I have not paid taxes on that money, and when I decide to take it out, I will have to pay taxes at whatever tax rate that's going to be. And I have no idea if the tax rate will be higher or lower in the future. If I was a betting man, because we as in the U.S. government, we're in debt, huge debt, that taxes will probably go up, and that's independent on who the president will be. It could be a Republican or a Democrat. In the next, I don't know, before I take this money out, which is many years, I'm pretty sure the tax rate will change. So, all pre-tax money. So, what do I want to do to try to keep all the taxes in my pocket and not pay it out? Well, it's not a trick, but it's a strategy that you can implement, and I'm going to show you the strategy right now. So let's go up to transaction history. Click here. And we're at the transaction history time period. It's the last 30 days. And let's go to sources. And on September 8th of this year, 2020, I made a withdrawal of $35,000 out of my GE 401k, and it's a taxable rollover. And I decided to put that in my TD Ameritrade Roth IRA. So why did I put this money, transfer it over to a Roth IRA? And the reason I did that is to save money on taxes. So let me log into TD Ameritrade, and I would give you more information of how I'm going to save that money. Let me log in. And all right, I am going to my Roth IRA, and you guys know that I have two IRAs. I have a rollover and a Roth. And let me go to positions. And as you can see, I've really increased this amount, and I'm at 262,000. But it is not because of me picking the best stocks in the world in the last 2 weeks. It's because I dumped $35,000 into this account. And again, it came from right here. So my GE account on 9/8, I withdrew 35,000, and I put 35,000 into my Roth IRA, and I even have a picture of the check. So here's the check. So coming from Fidelity, GE Retirement, date on the check is September 8th, 35,000. Of course, I removed the check number, account number, all the private stuff. Paid to the order of TD Ameritrade and myself, Raymond. So, excuse me. So, let's look at transactions and just more proof of what I did. So, this is showing me all the transactions within this account in the last year. And there it is on September 15th, which was yesterday, the $35,000 hit this account. And I just want to show you how much I had before the 35,000 hit. So let me go back up to positions. And let's go to my website and see the last time. All right, so I did an update on my Roth IRA on September, what is this? September 9th. So I had 220 222,000, a little over 222,000. And again, today is the 16th, so common sense lets you know I didn't make that much profit in the stock market in 4 or 5 days. So why is that money in the Roth IRA? So let me show you a tax table, and I'm going to tell you why and why you want to do something like this. So this is an article I wrote a couple of days ago, and I put 2 tax tables in here. So this is a tax table for people who make who work for someone, so earn income. So if you work as a teacher, firefighter, doctor, lawyer, and you don't work for yourself, but you work at a company, you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it is, and this is how you figure out how much tax they're going to take out of your paycheck. So if you're in this bracket, they're going to take 10% out. If you're in this bracket, it's going to be 12%. So, for example, I took $35,000 out of my GE 401k. So that means I'm in this bracket, which is the 12% bracket. And the reason I will have to pay tax on it is, like I keep telling you guys, that's pre-tax money. I never paid taxes on it. So if I take the money out of the 401k at my retirement age, I would pay taxes on it, depending on how much I take out. If I transfer it to a Roth IRA, depending on how much I transfer, that makes it taxable because I took it out of the account. So right now it's saying that I'll have to pay 12%. Well, I invest in stocks and rentals, and I want you guys to compare this table to this table. This table is a lot simpler. You got 0% taxes, 15%, and 20%. You can make up to $40,000 if you invest in stocks and rentals, and guess what? You pay 0 tax. If you make $1, you got to pay 10% tax using this table. The $35,000 that I took out, if I look at this table, I have to pay 12%. I can make up to $35,000 in stocks and rentals, and I pay 0 tax. So the reason I took that $35,000 out now in 2020 and didn't let it just stay in a 401k, because I have an advantage because I invest in stocks and rentals. So let's just do some real simple math. Let's say this year or next year, all my stocks and rentals in terms of profit, let's say I'm under $40,000. So I'm not going to pay any taxes, but I'm still going to have write-offs from the property. So I got repairs, the taxes, the insurance, driving back and forth, depreciation, everything that comes with property and stocks that I can write off, I'll be writing it off. So there's a good chance that I'll have a negative number. That negative number is going to be a blessing when it comes to the $35,000 that I pulled into my Roth IRA, because right here it's saying I'm going to have to pay 12% on that money. Well, guess what? I'm not paying 12% because I have all the write-offs. So I'm going to knock that percentage into this category, 10%. And I'll probably be lower than 10%. I might be at 5% because I have so many write-offs. So that's an advantage that you have by having rental property and investing in the stock market. So I'm hoping all this stuff makes sense. As you can see, you got 35% or 37%. So if you're making over $510,000, you're paying 37%, and this does not include state tax. And if you live in a city that taxes you, you have local tax. So you can be pretty close to 50% coming out of your check for working for someone, when the max for me would be 20%. And I have so many write-offs, I'm always closer to 0%. And a lot of years I've been at zero with a carryover where I was able to take that negative number and apply it to the upcoming year's taxes. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys are getting this. You appreciate it, and you will apply a lot of things that I'm talking about in your situation and save money on the tax side. I will holler at everybody later. Peace.